Morning, everybody. It is Saturday, July 3rd, day before Independence Day. One request I'm going to throw out there is really be aware if you're the kind of people or person that likes to play with fireworks, be super careful on so many levels. You don't want to be, you know, damaging your hearing, you're blowing a finger off, getting burned, or any of that. And also be cognizant of pets, not necessarily your pets, but any pets in the vicinity, because they can really flip out. The animal shelters end up being full of dogs and cats after the 4th of July because they've flipped out and escaped from their yards, jumped out windows off balconies. And also, I have friends that were in the military that suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome. And it really, this is a hard one for them. And I've seen it firsthand, and it's really terrible. So, I mean, if there's some local firework event in the area, let them just do it, but don't be. I had a neighbor when I first moved into my house who was blowing up M80s in their yard, like right next to my house, and that's like a half a stick of dynamite. And I finally went over and had a major confrontation with them over this. It was just unbelievable. So, enjoy however you want to celebrate it, you know, but be cognizant when it comes to explosives and fireworks, how dangerous they can be on so many levels. So that's my lecture for the day. It's always fun visiting all these artists, like doing the comparative things, like with James and Judith yesterday. And I mentioned something I was going to do, and I think I'm going to do one of them today. Now, I've worked on many projects over the course of my career that just were great in the studio, and for God knows what reason, people in positions of power in the labels, there's a change of administration at the label, and the people that we cut the album for were part of the old regime, and the new regime comes in and they don't want to have anything to do with the old one. They want it to be all their artists and stuff, and they just shelve these really great projects. I think I talked once about, I did an album with Mac Davis, and Jack Nietzsche produced it, and it sounded like Nine Inch Nails. It was really a dark, intense rock album. And when we did like songs like the old traditional Maybelline, but did it real slow and low and dark. And man, they played it for the label and they went crazy and they said, "This is unbelievable. Who is it?" And they said, "Well, it's Mac Davis's album." And they shelved it. They said there's no way his fan base would enjoy this, even though we know they would. And over the years when I would see Mac, we would just look at each other and go, "That album," just things happen. And then he passed away, and it's sitting on a shelf somewhere. I never had a copy of it, but it was pretty great. And another artist, I'm gonna just show some things today. This is how this stuff all seems to work. It was a young artist. This was, I don't know, God, this must have been like 15 years ago we did this, I would think, something like that. It was a young artist named Step. I think his name was Stefan, but he was going by Step, S-T-E-P. And it was a project being produced by Helga van Dyck, who, when I did the album with Deshen, the Tibetan artist, Helga was the producer on that. And I was supposed to be, last year, we were supposed to be going to Switzerland to do a concert with Martin Tillman, the great electronic cellist who does like tons of work with Hans Zimmer on his movies. We were supposed to do a concert, and because of COVID, it got canceled, and Helga was involved in that. And they had come to our show with Phil Collins at Madison Square Garden, and we talked about it, and we were all psyched and ready to go. It was going to be quite a production because I had recorded this album that we were going to be doing with Martin. And so that whole thing is sitting in the wings right now, still waiting to go. So that was how I hooked up with Helga. So we ended up going into Village Recorders in studio, I think it's designated D or whatever. It's the really big room. It's, I think, where Fleetwood Mac worked. And I've done a lot of album projects in there. Michael Oldfield's album, and just lots and lots of albums there. And we put the band together for it. And Stepp is really a good. He sings and plays guitar on the stuff. And then it's myself on bass, Jim Cox on keyboards, and Abe Laboriel Jr. on drums. We were in for a few days. We ended up cutting basically a whole album, and then I had the engineer run me off a rough of the tracks. So what I'm playing today is totally unfinished, not mixed. Stepp was probably going to be going back and doing vocals and working on that, and maybe some more guitar stuff and some overdubs back, probably in Switzerland. I'm pretty sure that's where he lived. And so I just what I'm going to play is an absolute rough board mix of this. But we all really enjoyed this project so much. And then I was over at the Music Messe in Frankfurt, Germany, the big giant trade show. And I bumped into him there, and I said, "So, what's happened with the album?" And he says, "Well, I got back, and I guess the people that were paying for the project didn't like it and pulled the plug on it, so it never got released. I think they had him go in with a whole bunch of other people and different songs and do something else." So this stuff, nobody's ever heard this before. It's just you guys on here. But it's just it's sad, because I think when this would have been finished up, it would have been a really cool album, and we had so much fun recording. And it was interesting. They set the studio up. They had projectors in there, so we were all in the room, but at times you couldn't even see each other, because it was all they made a big atmosphere thing out of it. That's the way he wanted to do it. So there was like video, like old movies and stuff being shown over everybody in the room. I mean, it was a real big project. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's over with. So I'm going to play a couple of songs from this now. Understand these are unmixed and never finished. This is just basic raw as we cut it that day with a couple of overdubs. So this one is called Unfold Me, or Unfold Me Short. Titles, I'm not sure, whatever. The title's a title. But here we go.
Like I've never been home. You gave me peace and made me strong.
Now, they had arrived with, they had done pre-production back there. So they had created string parts and some horn parts and some percussion loops. And they had a couple of guide things for bass, keys, and drums that then we just turned off and we played once we dialed it in, but it just gave more body to the song. But again, that is totally not finished, not mixed, not anything. This was just as we cut it. So that was the first step with Step going into it. But here's one more. This is called the Train Station.
Gotta take a corner, take a ride. Someplace cool, that's my destination. Forget about your troubles, you just step inside. I'm ready to roll, you know I'm ready to ride. Step on through to the other side. Just don't care.
Love Abe Jr.
Backs are back, got nothing to say. The tracks are waiting on a sunny day. I'm ready to roll, you know I'm ready to ride. Step on through to the other side. So many places, got so much to say, my dear. Crazy things go drifting by. So many places, got so much to say, my dear. Wheels are rolling and I'm on my way. And I know, truly deeply free. And I know, that's all you've got to be. And I know, truly deeply free. And I know, that's all you've got to be. All those dreams that I have to find. it's your imagination. All it takes just a little time. I'm on my way to my paradise. To me, you know it feels real nice. No matter who you are, you got to pay the price. If you wanna go to paradise, and I know truly deep and free, and I know that's all you've got to be, and I know you're truly deep and free, and I know that's all you've got to be. So many places can get you high, my friend. Crazy things go drifting by. So many places got so much to say, my dear. Wheels are rolling and I'm on my way.
Elements of it really kind of reminds me, it gets into like a Chili Peppers thing. But yeah, once again, never saw the light of day. Here's one, let me see, this is called The Ego. Here we go.
He's a hungry little dog, just for a little hawk. He plays
stuff to play. It's just, as far as I know, that none of this stuff ever saw the light of day. It didn't get released. Let me see, just a couple more things here. This one's called Shadows.
Can't keep on dancing with your shadow. Gotta keep it on. Sometimes it's hard to understand. It's hard to do. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been dancing for so long, so long. And my shadows never done me wrong. You know all about. You can look inside your shadow. Don't let your feelings do you wrong. Yeah, do you wrong. Gotta keep on. Yeah, I've been dancing. Gotta keep on moving on there. Yeah, I've been dancing. Gotta keep on, gotta keep on, keep on, keep on. Oh yeah. Then you can look inside your shadows. Don't let your feelings do you wrong. Yeah, do you wrong. Yeah, come together with your shadows. Check where the light is coming from. Check it out from. Don't go, don't go. Yeah, I've been dancing. Don't go, don't go. Today we like what we love tomorrow. Ain't no plans for hidden sorrows. Today we like what we love tomorrow. Ain't no plans for hidden sorrows. There's a black that shine still stops swaying through the door. So you better believe it. You better believe it. Oh, you better believe it. There's a black that shine still stops swaying through the door. So you better believe it. Yeah, I've been dancing. Oh yeah, say what? Yeah, I've been dancing. We gotta go together, baby, baby. You can look inside your shadow. You can look inside. Sometimes it's hard to understand. It's hard to do. Yeah, I've been dancing for so long, so long, so long. My shadows never done me wrong. Yeah, you know all about. And it's a fact that shouting still stops swaying through the door. So you better believe it. It's anyway for you. It's a fact that shouting still stops swaying through the door. So you better believe Today we like what we love tomorrow. Ain't no plans for hidden sorrow. Today we like what we love tomorrow. Ain't no plans for hidden sorrow.
Again, I have to reiterate, none of this was just raw basic tracks, unfinished, unmixed, undone. This is as raw as it gets, practically. How much time are we in? I'll do one more. This one's called The Galaxy. Fly through the galaxy, so beautiful to be. It takes me far away, just today. From station to station, that's what life should be. Yeah, I'm on that way, and you can't stop me now.
out, people, 'cause I'm here for you. Enjoyable feelings, that's what life should be. I'm on that road, and you can't stop me now. Everything's in our hands, we just got to use them. Are you my body, or are you my enemy? Maybe you've been waiting for the baby to take you on a ride. All you got to do is look inside of your mind. That good times feeling's just a step away. Oh yeah, yeah, all those things that you don't just leave behind. I can hear you scream and shout, but life ain't gonna let you go. Life ain't gonna let you go. Voices from the past, send an echo in your mind. Yeah, all those things that you don't just leave behind. Yeah, rainbow colors in the air. Yeah, all in war, love is fair. Riding rainbow through the sky. Yeah, we can make it together. We can fly. Sit back and relax and enjoy the ride. Sit back and relax and enjoy the ride. Sit back and relax and enjoy the ride. Sit back and relax and enjoy the ride.
You know, just a lot of effort, a lot of work goes into a project and then never to be heard. It's the business. You know, there's a big difference between music and music business. So that step, I can't remember, I don't have it marked down when we recorded that or if any of that ever really saw the light of day, but I lost touch with him after, I saw him briefly at the, like I said, the Music Messe in Frankfurt. And he said, man, the whole thing was shelved at that point. So that was, it was sad. Boy, it was so much fun to play with Cox and Abe on that. So let's see. More work to do today. I've got some more tracks to do for people. There's an incredible track being put together for COVID relief, I believe, where they're covering a Beatles song. I'm not at liberty to talk about it, but I ended up, there's, I think, about 70 drummers. Now, everybody in the business is going to be on this thing just doing bars and things like that. And I ended up doing like the first third. There's going to be a bunch of bass players on it. So yesterday I did a bunch, and then they wrote back and they said, "Are you going to film it?" So it's going to be a video. So now, after we finish this, I'll go ahead and film me playing to my part, because I've already done the part, and to get that done. And then one thing that's coming up that's really, I'm really looking forward to it, and I'll have much more details as to time and date and all that. But the Immediate Families album is coming out on August 27th, and we were trying to figure out how to present the album, how to premiere, and looked at a bunch of different options. And we've done a lot of work over the years for the Grammy Museum, and they basically, we're going to do it at the Grammy Museum. They've given us a super deal just to be there. So we'll have a live audience at the premiere of the album. We'll be on stage. We're not going to be playing it. We're going to be playing the actual album. You know, it's going to be piped in high fidelity, and but we're going to live stream it, so anybody can watch this thing. And we're going to do Q&A, talk about all the different tracks on it, answer questions that people send in or people in the audience. I'm really excited about that. So when we know the exact date, it might be like the 25th or 26th of August. We're going to try to do it just before the actual album drops. So I'll give you all the information on that, and it's going to be fun. I've never done anything quite like that. Most of the time, like a band will go play a gig for a small crowd, and that's who sees it. But this way, we can open the whole thing up to anybody who wants to, log into the live stream. So that'll be fun. I think the only pay will be for the people that are actually attending. I think there's 200 seats available in the actual Grammy Museum, and I've done a bunch of shows there in the past, and it's always fun because it's such a beautifully intimate space to work in and relate to an audience in. So there's that going on. Have to get to work on our next video for the album. We've got to get that done pretty soon. So I might do a little work here, but I think we're going to do a bunch of the work at Steve Postel's house, where we can hang up a huge green cloth and do some green screen in front of it, because we have a concept as to what we want the background to look like on this, and we need to do it in front of a green screen to accommodate and accomplish that. Again, this coming Tuesday is live stream time. And also, people keep writing in on the chat windows, on all of these videos, and asking all kinds of questions about shirts and joining the clubhouse. On every one of these videos, generally the one that day, I have to wait for it to upload to put that information in. But on every video I put up, there's a link on the videos that go to my website, where the book and my art and the beard t-shirts are. And then there's also a link to the clubhouse, where there's the store, where there's t-shirts and mugs and photos, because people keep saying, oh man, can I get a photograph? There's a whole bunch of photographs available there that if you order it, then I can go ahead and I'll sign it personally to you and send it off. I mail them everything myself. So that's going on. And also people have asked, how can we send you stuff? There's a P.O. box. My P.O. box, which is the thing I use the most, is also listed on the little window on the thing. So there's a link on every video. So check them out. So I'm going to get going. I'm going to wish everybody a great weekend. I've got lots of work to do, and I'm going to get down to it now. Again, we're now in a weekend where a lot of people don't get weekends because they are busting their humps, working in hospitals, in healthcare, in police, in fire, everything where these people are coming in contact with the public. I'm concerned about these new variants. They said that there's going to be more people traveling on airplanes this weekend than since the beginning of the pandemic. And I just hope everybody's safe, because I've got friends in different countries that started to get gigs lined up, and all of a sudden they're all canceled again because numbers are going back up because of variants. The critical thing is just to get protected at this point. So I want to just thank all those people who are still working so hard every day to try to keep, as I say, this ship afloat. And also, until this is over with, The tragedy in Miami just keeps building. Apparently now, they say the building that didn't fall is completely unsafe, and now they're going to have to probably relocate all the people that live there and then knock that building down once the recovery or the search is over for whoever might remain in the rubble that's there. And now there's apparently a hurricane heading in that direction. So you just they're not winning. I feel my heart. I feel so terrible for what all these people are going through. I mean, one of the firefighters that was working there on this, who's been uncovering rubble, they found his 7-year-old daughter in the rubble because they lived in the building. I just can't imagine the horror that all these people are experiencing. So, man, my heart is truly with them. I mean, it's unreal. So, don't mean to be it's not a downer. It's the reality of what we live in and what's going on. And that's, I think, the critical thing is to be aware of it and understand it and respectful of it. So I'm going to get going now. This has turned into a really long one. I'm sure everybody will be sound asleep in quickly into it, but it's there. For if you wake up, it'll probably still be on. So I will see you all tomorrow. And I have another record that I really love doing that also got shit canned that I think I would like to show you. So I'm going to try to dig that up and we'll check it out tomorrow. So take good care, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.